Hello. I'm going to speak a little bit about design system by iInteractive. So I will start in the beginning with a very interesting question: is why do we need a design system? And the answer is when you have applications relevant to your business, when you need to have consistency and some experience in different applications. Why is that important? Because when you have applications that are relevant and you need to change or you need to do some updates, you have to you need to have the same experience and you have the same consistency through all your applications. And how can you do that? Only with a design system. In our opinion, it's the best solution. Why is the best solution? Why do you need a design system? Is always a question that all our clients usually did when we spoke with them. Why? Because when you have a control environment with few applications and with the same development teams, you can control everything that you do. So when you start to have more applications, usually when you have different type of users for in different communications with different goals in every application, usually start to have more development teams and sometimes working with different technologies. This is when you start to have what we call a technical depth. You usually it's more costly when these applications are critical to the business, because you cannot lose that application or start working with that application. You need to keep working with them, doing the updates, building new features, sometimes doing an upgrade of the technology. And that's why you need a design system, because the design system will be the base to work in all these different variables that usually have in all clients environment. So the design system will be working in four steps. UX UI approach uh, obviously is the best practice on having a design system. Always working in the concept of reusing the code to bring scales and of course the technology. And when we are speaking about OutSystems, we are talking about OutSystems reactive. So the solution of a design system is the first question is, what is a design system? Well, it's a library that documents a company's identity, tone of voice, style, standards, rules, and components. Why is that relevant? Because it's those variables that going to help and to to evolve two different worlds. It's the designers and developers. Probably designers and developers will be the one they're going to use more the design system. There's also other types of stakeholders, but designers and developers are the one who must be fully integrated. So the design system will reduce the gap between those two worlds. So the two things that we need to consider is the style guides and the patterns library. Why we need to use this? Because, and considering the Matryoshka system and considering the pattern library is the reusable components and the like buttons, models, and page layouts, will be the base for the style guide, a static guide that is going to be used by the, um, the designers. And of course, design system is the bigger doll in the Matryoshka system. So why design system will help your environment, will help your factory, will help your development strategy, because we will facilitate communication between customers and employees. So if every stakeholders that work in your environment are using design system, will be much better, because they can use the same components, they can use the same rules, they can use the same patterns, and of course it will bring consistency. It will eliminate a lot of efforts that usually um, result when you are not considering a design system. So what in the end of the day, what's going to happen is you're going to accelerate your development. So the benefits that you're going to to have on using a design system is perfectly to use with agile methodology. It's much easier to do ramp up to new developing teams, because there is a common base that every developer teams can use instead of building new ones. You need less experience because if you prepare and you have your components in your library, um, even the most complex components are already there. So you don't need to have more expertise to build the same components that you have in your design system. You will gain less time and effort, of course, because you already have all the documentation that you need and the components that you need. You're going to reuse and scale your, and even in out systems is going to reuse and the code and components even for different applications, that will help you a lot on having scale. So scale in low code is reusing the code, not having more developers. And of course, in the end of the day, we'll have a better experience and consistency that is very important in big corporation to spread culture and values corporation. So what we'll have in the end of the day is a lifestyle guide. It's a similar to regular style guide, but but live with code. That's why the design system is the tool that will help you to reduce the gap between designers and developers, because everyone are using the same styles, the same ideas and the same rules to build what the business needs. So the design will transform a business idea, and the developers will transform a design in an application. So this is particularly relevant because sometimes you have different communications for different users. For example, you can have a business to business strategy, or business or B2C, or even B2E, and you can have only one component to be used in different communications. So what we usually recommend to our clients is to have a base team. Okay, this is the base of our design system, and then you can reuse that same component with different communications. What is what is your effort here? It's only on the first component that you have to build. After that, you can reuse, and you gain a lot of reduction in costs, and of course on budgets. So the solution in the design system, in our opinion, should start on an assessment. After that, UX UI preparation, then the design system implementation, and of course, in the end, the design system methodology. Explaining a little bit one of these on each of these topics. An assessment, it's one thing that we do. We're going to analyze how many lifestyle guides that you have. Yes, it's true. You have probably will have a lot of different lifestyle guides. We're going to analyze your UI architecture, understand a little bit the documentation that you have, and issues that we found when we are doing this assessment. What is the output of this report? We're going to understand and identify what is the best approach to a new UI architecture, give you some front end tips, and of course, do an estimation, for example, for different application, if you need to refactor the application or just build a new one. After that, we do a UX UI preparation. What is this? We use a design thinking methodology, and the reason we're using this is we're going to analyze what flows are more common in your application. With this, we try to identify which types of flows you need to be prepared in your design system to be reused in future applications. And with this, we built a design system with custom design. So we're going to use the components that are already built in the out systems platform. We're going to consider your brand guidelines. We're going to do it for web and mobile, and of course, because when we are building uh, applications asked by the business, there are some features that the platform will not be enough. So that's why we also build a design system, what we call the custom experience, is when we build the custom components just to go and to reach what are the user experience that that application must have to fulfill the business needs. So that's why we build some extra components, like an extension of the OutSystems platform, but we prepare the components to be reused and be used a local platform, so like drag and drop in the normal components of the platform. After that, when you involve all the stakeholders, it's better start with baby steps. Why is that so important, working with baby steps? Because when the first steps are very important to everyone that is involved in on building a design system, to see how much they're going to um, to get profits in by using a design system. When your teams are motivated to use the design system again in future application, it's when you usually should go to the next step. With these small steps, everyone's when starting to use, they will learn what are the benefits. They will see also the benefits from not using the old process of building from scratch. So that's why then we should use to use other competencies like UX, UIs, front end developments, back end developments, tech leads, UI architectures, you name it. Okay, so with this design system, starting by doing just a review by a user journey map, working trying identification this with an ideation workshop, identification with the user flows with inside reports, prototyping low fidelity and high fidelity, building a visual style guide, assets for development, building a team, having templates, screen samples for future use. You can use the design system as a base tool to future developments. So having a perspective of a timeline, usually this will take more or less 10 weeks with different steps, as you can see in this timeline. So the solution, what is the really impact that you're going to have in the end of the day? So this is very important to to boost your investment in the design system. So our strategy, and of course every companies have their problems. They have business logic, they can have case management, business operations problems, business process management, legacy modernization, field operations, so you name it. But when you speak with the business in every corporation, they always want to build new application that can reduce time to market to new perspectives. So typically, the next step when you have your business idea defined, is to do the process of UX, UI, and front end development, and after that, do development, and you have the deployment of the new application. With our approach, what we're trying to do is we use the atomic design, building a UI architecture. Why we do this? Because when you in your first application, is that the case when you build the components for the first time? Probably you will not have the effort reduction that you are expecting. But in the next application, usually our type of clients, we have clients with 20, 30, 100, 200 applications. You can see how much you're going to reduce your effort on having a design system and on having this type of tools on helping you on the development. So what we considered, and watching a little bit of the tool of design systems, is what we call the game changers, because just time and money help you to build for the future. Is the reason you should do the investment in a design system, is because it's worth in time and money, um, in every strategy that you have for future applications. So I'd like to thank you for listening to the end. I hope you contact us and maybe we can talk a little bit more. Thank you.